schedule's out. Yo, yo, yo. What we doing? Waruna, how's it going?
I'm doing okay. Finally, I have some free time the weekend, so happy to talk about 49ers and football in general.
Is this the only moment you've had to kind of take a breath this whole weekend?
Kind of, yes, because due to this softball season, it's overwhelming. I mean, yesterday, so we were at the games, and next weekend they have some kind of a tournament of, I mean, what do you call it, a playoff tournament or something. So with everything, the regular stuff that you had to do. So this, I mean, yeah, kids are asleep, so finally I have some time to sit back and relax and talk about some football.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been doing some painting. I I started on this flower here behind me, and yeah, last time I painted one of these things, I told myself practice doing the petals over and over and over until you get them right. And I did it a couple times. I was like, oh, I think I got it, and then I didn't have it. I'm
So
almost
we
thinking I
have
gotta re-go over the whole thing over again, start from scratch.
so we have a couple of people already. We have
What's
Karthik
that?
and we have Priyas game. I think there is a slight delay. I mean, sorry about that, but we have Karthik and Priyas game already in the chat. So let's talk about some football. So, I mean, let's jump into it. No, we are not going to take shots at Jimmy G, but let's see. I mean, let's start with the 49ers schedule. I mean, they released it this week. Interesting schedule, especially with the week 9 bye. So I'll go first here, Ryan.
Can I interrupt
So
real
I
quick?
had few, yeah.
Oh, oh, the Jimmy G thing. I heard Baller bring it up today on the Grant Cohn show. Said I don't care who he dates or this and that, and I didn't look into it because I really don't care. But now that you brought it up and saying we won't take shots, what happened? What was the news that I missed? Can you please inform me?
No, because I was replying to the previous game's comment. He just said, "Are we going to take shots at Jimmy G again
Oh,
today?" So I was just saying,
oh,
no, we are not going to do that today. So let's talk about the schedule. So, pretty interesting one, I would say, to begin with. So I wrote an article, had few takeaways. First thing is the NFL scheduling committee. I mean, 49ers should send them, I don't know, flowers or something, but a good bottle of wine from California because they are being generous to us. Especially first two games start. I'm still road game, but starting with Chicago, then playing home opener with Seahawks. Last year it was the same, playing Detroit Lions away game again Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, defense bailed out during that game before we came to Levi Stadium to take on Packers. So that's the first observation or the takeaway that I have, that it's a easy schedule to begin with. So let's say if Trey Lance is going to be the starter, so that could be the best schedule that he can get in first couple of weeks. That's the first thing. Then after that, within first 8 weeks, so before we get the bye, we will have 5 road games. That's tough. Starting with road game against Denver Broncos. Out of these 8 games, we have Broncos, Chiefs, then 2 matches against Super Bowl champions, LA Rams. That's going to be tough. So that is another takeaway. The other thing is after that one, I mean, after the bye week, we will have more home games versus road games. And finally, we have 5 primetime games. So that's huge to me because it seems like,
what up?
hi, but up. So it seems like I mean, the NFL is expecting that 49ers will do well, because most of these primetime games, if you take it, Sunday night football with Denver Broncos, then I believe it's Monday night football against Rams. Uh, then again, you have LA Rams, Sunday night football. Sorry, not LA Rams, Chargers. Then you have the international game, Mexico City, Monday night football against Arizona. Then you have the week 15 encounter against Seattle. That's a Thursday night football. So that is huge compared to some of these teams. For example, Detroit Lions, they have only one primetime game. So it means that NFL considers 49ers as one of the, I would say, playoff contenders, a team that can make something happen. So the storyline is there. If Trey Lance, so no matter who the quarterback is going to start, still it will be a storyline. So these are my major takeaways, Ryan. So what do you think about 49ers schedule? Uh, Anything that jumps out to you when you look at that schedule?
So you you were saying that the five road games in the first 8 games was bad, but not necessarily,
Yes.
because it's good
So
for the fans.
let
They're
me
not
list
going to
that.
bake to
Let me
death in the
list that
stand.
out to you. Yeah. So 5 road games would be Denver, then at Carolina, at
Niners play well
Falcons.
on the road.
Then,
Niners play well on the road.
yes, yes. So are you worried about it? So basically, 3 road games should be easy, because easy in the sense the opposition that we can handle, I would say Chicago, Carolina, and Atlanta, and 2 road games against Denver and LA Rams. So what do you think about that?
So you've got let's start with the two best teams. So you got the LA
Yeah.
Rams and you've got the Denver Broncos. Okay, so the LA Rams,
Yes.
they're gonna bring it. It's gonna be a nail biter. Um, I'm I'm guessing no matter who plays the game, it's it's just gonna be a nail biter, and it's gonna come down to the last minutes. You know what I mean? Because it's no matter who are the players on the field, it seems like it comes down to those two coaches and whoever's on fire, McVay or Shanahan. So that's that. You know what I mean? It's coin flip. You know what I mean? Not going to worry too much about that. Denver, on the other hand, everybody's thinking, oh, this is going to be the first loss of the season. I don't know about that. He's Jerry Judy. What, Jerry Judy gone? Now who's he got to throw to?
I'm not sure whether he
I'm
is
guessing
going to
Jerry
get
Judy's going
suspended.
to.
Yeah, might be. Yes, it's a
I'm
still
pretty
guess
sure,
at this
but
point. Yeah.
in my yep. So in my synopsis of the season, I'm thinking he's suspended. So I'm thinking that I'm not as worried about I'm the biggest thing I'm worried about Mile High is having oxygen. I've been to Colorado. You get winded just going upstairs, and that was back when I was in peak physical. Well, maybe not peak, but I wasn't too far out of it. You know what I mean? I was still working as a beer man. You know what I mean? I was pretty fit from throwing lots of cases every day. I wasn't a wrestler at that point, but even the wrestler in me pretty much would have got winded. But no, I think Denver Broncos, I don't think they're as scary as everybody thinks in the first 3 games of the season. The last 3 games of the season, different. You know what I mean? Now, when it comes to, was it Carolina, Atlanta, who knows? Who knows with Atlanta? Carolina Panthers, who knows with them? You know what I mean? Oh no, not Trevor Lawrence, but who knows what goes on with these teams? Any one of them could be a trap team, especially even Seattle. Okay, so I don't think Seattle's going to win, but if there's anybody who can be in the first part of a rebuilding season or year and come up with a scheme to give us a lot of trouble, it's Pete Carroll. You know what I mean? Out of everybody, he's, Sean McVay, I don't think he'd be as good in this situation, but I think Pete Carroll definitely would.
Yes. So I mean, Swan Song just jumped over here. So Swan, welcome. So I'm just
Guys,
coming to you asking. So can we get rid of Russell Wilson? I mean, I respect him so much, but still, I mean, you can't get rid of Russell Wilson. He
He's
was
following
tormenting
us.
us. Yes, now he's coming back to torment us again
I
for
mean,
one more time. What do you
I
think?
mean, I think most of the people that I've seen made out schedules have put that as an L. I put that as an L too, but it doesn't mean we can't win that game. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's a lot of
No, not.
moving parts in Denver, and I was telling people the other day, it's like there's a lot of hopeful teams, right? This coming season, right? Because of all the movement in the NFL, but the NFL there's going to be teams that do awesome, and then there's going to be teams that disappoint because the NFL at the end of the day is a zero sum game, right? There's going to be winners and losers, and not everyone can be winners, not everyone can be losers. It just balances out. So we're going to see teams that are not going to be as good as what people thought, and I think you got to be suspicious of the new teams that put in all this talent together. Sometimes that stuff doesn't work. Just doesn't work. You've seen it in different
Or
sports
at least
too,
there's
not
there's
just
a
football.
feeling out period.
Yep. It's
Yes.
like it's like like we always talk about football being a ultimate team sport, right? And a lot of how you can't just put talent together and expect it to work. There's a lot of like people playing above their heads because they're playing for their teammate, right? So you get a lot of like this variance of I think players just playing above their heads because like this greater good or this common goal, right? You can have all the talent and not have that, and then therefore you can get beat by a team that has less talent, but that's playing above their heads, right? It's playing above their talent level. So I think that's why
Yeah.
there's so much difference in football.
Yes. So let's welcome Ikim, Korean 49ers. So
What's going on?
finally, we are going to see Fields versus Lance. Are you excited?
I am excited. Hopefully, the franchise, the front office actually drops Jimmy like a bad habit. Nothing against Jimmy and all his supporters, but this team, Jimmy showed us that he can't take this. Jimmy has shown that he can't take this team to where it really wants to go. So hopefully, it'll be Lance versus Fields in the first game. That should be a victory for the 49ers because I don't think the Bears did enough to surround Fields with weapons and more protection on the offensive line. So, and the Bears are going back to a 4-3 defense. So they're changing their defensive scheme back to what got them a lot of success in previous seasons. So, I think that should be a winnable game. The Seahawks, until they actually beat them, I want to see them do it.
So I want to interrupt you and ask one more question. Now, last year, when we played Bears in Chicago, they were leading until Debo Samuel ran for 83 yards, until Debo Samuel took the matters into his own hands. If we did not have Debo, we would have lost that game. So, do you think that still Bears is a guaranteed victory, or will there be any surprises?
You never know in the first game of the season because no one ever knows how any of it's going to how any of it's going to play out. I don't like Jimmy's product on the field. I don't dislike Jimmy off the field. That's his own business. Previous game. So, um, as I say, you remember last season when we played the Lions? You didn't know what was going to happen, and the Lions
Yeah,
almost came back and tied that game at 40 towards
it,
the end. So you never know what if the
somebody
Bears offense clicks that day. Go ahead.
somebody was
So
trying to
what?
say that that was all like dead ball time or something like that, and I was like, no, it wasn't. I remember watching that game real time. They had enough time to win the game, and they were close enough. And to count that off as dead ball time or just whatever they call it, I was just like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So see the first game as a winnable game. The second game against Seattle, I see as another winnable game. Just I want to see him actually beat Seattle first to see where it goes. If you go 2-0, I think everyone's much more optimistic than if they went 1-1 and had a close loss against Seattle. and then they face the boogeyman in week 3 and Russell Wilson. So who knows what that outcome might be. I just want to. Will be nice to beat him for once.
So, Son, I'm just coming back to you because last year 49ers started pretty well against Lions. The offense clicked everything. But after that, it seems like most of the time defense had to bail the team out. Offense struggled because at the end of the 21 season, 49er defense ranked 5th overall versus the offense ranked 15th overall. So do you think tides will change this year, that 49er offense, the so-called guru, Kyle Shanahan, will get it together and put up, let's say, top 10 offense, top 5 offense in 2022 season? Are you hopeful? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm hopeful for that. I think last year Shanahan really showed me something in the fact that at a point after, if you look at the the Eagles game, the Packers game, they could not get any running. Their running game was just not looking good, right? Because teams are now cheating up, right? And remember the press conference that they had afterwards,
Kittle.
after the Green Bay game, and Kittle is like, "Man, I don't know. Kyle and Mike better figure this out." Well, he didn't say in those words, but he pretty much said that, right? We got good coaches. They got to figure it out because teams were just cheating up, and then Kyle found a way. They did some things with how they were handing off the ball differently, how they were like doing that hybrid pitch back thing. Of course, adding Debo back there, but they found their way out of that and actually made an offense that was, looking a lot better. It haunted us back again in the NFC Championship. We saw it. Like if you look at that game, that kind of reminded you of week 3, week 4 all over again, right? Because, not having Trent there, now we're having to deal with Von Miller, that other defensive lineman, and freaking, what's their all-pro guy? Aaron Donald. So it's like, do I think I'm hopeful? Yes, I'm hopeful that with Trey being there, that teams are not going to be able to cheat up on us, right? We now have, our running back room now is young, and they all do different things, right? I don't think we have that crazy speed back anymore, but I mean, TDP is pretty fast guy for a big guy. He's pretty fast, pretty bursty. Mitchell, I knew right after that Detroit game when he was having his knee issues, I go, he doesn't look as fast. Remember that one Detroit run he had? He looked pretty fast, right? And then at the games after that, I'm like, he definitely he's injured and they're not selling us anything. And sure enough, on the offseason, he gets, his knee, he has a knee cleanup. But yeah, I do think that I don't know where the rankings are going to be. I think I wouldn't be shocked if it's a top 10 offense for sure. It just really matters with Lance. It really matters with Lance and that offensive line. If that offensive line holds up, I don't see why not.
Okay. So I'll come to Ryan again. So Ryan, first 8 weeks playing Super Bowl champions twice. So we have played them in the regular season 6-0, but they had the last laugh. So did you like the scheduling of that, or were you like, okay, we could have played them maybe after week 10 or so? What's your thought on that? Playing Rams twice within first 8 weeks.
It's so playing somebody at the end of the season, you're either going to get a team that is clicking or a team that is hurt, or struggling. Playing them in the beginning of the season, you're going to get a team that is struggling, hasn't figured out how to click yet, or you haven't figured out how to click yet, so you might lose the game. So it doesn't matter when you play the Rams. I actually feel that it's better to play both of them in the first half of the season because they, just like the 49ers, are trying to get everybody on the same page. Okay, they've had people leave, this and that. So I think it's more for us beneficial for us to play them in the beginning when maybe their new left tackle isn't so synced with the line yet. You know what I mean? Certain things like that. But that could be said for us. You know what I mean? They might play us, and we don't have our original right tackle, Mike McGlinchey, and that might be the reason why we might lose the game, or it might be close. So, flip a coin. You know what I mean? Like I like that we're playing them early, get them out of the way. You know what I mean? I'd rather get them out of the way and then play the Cardinals at the end, like we do. You know what I mean? Because they could come out hot, and Cliff Kingsbury, he uses up all his good plays by the first 2/3 of the season, and he's out recycling stuff that everybody's seen before. So, yeah.
Isn't there a stat out there that says, like, even in college, Cliff Kingsbury always gets worse, right? Going back to college.
Yes, that's true. Because usually at the latter part of the season, I mean, yes, he's terrible. Even last year they were 10 and I think they were 8-2. They were 7-0, 7-1, then 10-2, then ended up the season with 11-6 record. Yes. So I'm coming back to Korean 49 Kim. So now, 9th week bye. Last year we had 6th week bye, so it was pretty early. But this week, this season we have that 9th week bye. How crucial would that be, given the tough schedule we have?
I never like early buys in the schedule. You might as well have them around week 8 or 9 or 10, give or take, during the season, just because everyone gets. You're still relatively fresh earlier in the season, and then everyone starts getting beat up around week 5 and 6. So I think this comes at the right time this season, at least. I'm not sure what everybody else is thinking, but I'm just thinking that's about the right time.
Okay. So just a follow up now, Ryan. Now, between the 9th week. So 9th week is the bye week. So before that, this week 7 and week 8, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Rams. Then week 10, Chargers. Week 11, Arizona. 4 crucial games sandwiched in between bye week. How important is that bye week to split between these 4 tough games? What are your thoughts?
Well, so the bye week helps you rest up, and it helps you get more in-depth study on the team that you focus on that next week. It doesn't help the team that you play after that, because you never want to look past an opponent, because that's like the first thing that, check the box for on the list for how you get a loss. You know what I mean? Is you look past that opponent. So I don't know, other than having to play extremely hard in those games and needing that rest right afterwards to kind of lick your wounds and kind of brace yourself for that last push, hopefully into the playoffs. But if not, that last push to the end of the season and really, show what you got. It's crucial. It's the rest is the most important part. It has nothing to do about preparation for the teams or anything like that. Like I said, you can't look in front of the next team.
Okay, so now this is something we knew from the beginning. Playing for AFC West
So
teams.
it's all about the rest, man. You gotta.
Okay, so I'm coming back to Kim.
What's up?
So I'm going back to Kim. So now, given the way the games are scheduled and everything, how confident are you that 49ers will going to make it to the playoffs? Or do you have anything like early prediction. Okay, this might be the 49er record for the 2022 season. What are your thoughts on that?
Record for the season. I have them going 10-7. One better than last season. It wouldn't surprise me if they went 9-8 also. I want to see Trey get his struggles early and then get better as the season goes. I want to see how they do against the AFC West, if they can at least get a split in those 4 games, because that is the toughest division in the league. And I want to see them beat Seattle twice and at least get one more, split Arizona and the Rams. Try to get 4 wins in our division. So, and also,
Do you feel that we're kind of lucky that Lance gets to actually go against them this year, because he gets to actually, when the defense is playing, he's actually a student there, and he gets to watch what, all these talented quarterbacks who are going to be, the leaders for the next generation, essentially, of football players, and he gets to actually study them and go to his game. You know what I mean?
it'll help.
I'm
It'll
just
help
wondering,
him
Kim.
out. It'll help him out. I mean, he's going to learn what good things they did during their rookie seasons, at least, and then what he can do in this season, what to and what not to do. I mean, it would be nice if we could have I think we have good receivers, but I don't think we're going to have an offense like what Cincinnati had last season with Joe Burrow, with T. Higgins, and can't remember the name of the receiver, Jamar Chase. So,
Chase.
yep, Chase. I was hoping that we could have that, but I don't think we have that. I think we got good receivers, but I don't think they're on the level that Cincinnati has. And hopefully the 49ers will realize that they actually need an offensive line to protect Trey, because I don't want to see him take the beating that Joe Burrow did last season. I think he got sacked over 60 times. And if you're Bill Walsh or Bill Belichick, what's your first priority every season? You have to protect your quarterback. You have to prevent him from getting sacked a lot of times. So hopefully they actually follow that lead and do that.
Kim, did you
Sure.
watch that Nick Zarkel interview? What'd you think?
I did not get a chance to, so I can't comment.
Oh man, go back and watch it.
We'll do.
Go ahead, Waruna.
So I just wanted to, give what my thoughts are about the 49 season. So last year, initially we thought, okay, since the team is healthy and everything, that we might go like even 13-4. That was the thing, because we were expecting, okay, if Kyle can get his run game going, so on and so forth. But team struggled. Basically, they had to fight, put everything out there just to get that 10 wins. And that playoff, it's kind of, I would say it's a fluke, the playoff run that we had, especially the Green Bay game, because that doesn't happen every day. It's like 0.1% of the time that these kind of things happen. Now, given that, especially with what we have with Trey Lance, in the sense, he is a rookie quarterback starting his first year. He will take time to develop the growing pains and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if 49ers have 7-10 season, missing playoffs. Even maybe I would be kind of worried if 49ers fall behind that, at least get to that 7 wins. I would be worried, but I think 7 is a fairly reasonable objective achievement for the 49ers, given it's Trey Lance's first year and playing AFC West, and some other strong teams like Dolphins, who are stacked up this year, then Tampa Bay and Saints, always they have that fight in them. So yes, I'm going with 7-10. That's my, what you call, the flow. But the best, I would still say 10 win is achievable, but given that things need to go our way, most probably offense has to step up. I mean, one thing that we forget is last year Debo Samuel has a phenomenal season. It was the first season that he played throughout the entire year without any injuries. So who knows that Debo Samuel is going to have the same year again. It's hard to what do you call duplicate, do it again, do it over and again what Debo Samuel did last year. So that's why I'm skeptical about 49ers coming back to that 10-win margin again. So I'm going with 7 and 10, but I'm hopeful that they can get more than that. Ryan?
Hey, Ryan, can I say one thing before you go ahead?
Go ahead.
To me, I agree with what Waruna is saying. Also, Bosa stayed healthy full last season. Hopefully, he doesn't get hurt again because our team does have a lot of players who missed a lot of time during their careers. Hopefully, Bosa will stay healthy again and put up another 14 to 15 sacks and get himself a big contract down the line. And on an off note, hey, thanks for the nice words, Swan. I try to be consistent 100% of the time. I know that's not possible, but yeah, at least people know where I stand, whether they like or dislike my opinions. I don't go to sleep worrying about that stuff.
So Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah.
So where is your prediction? What do you think 49ers will do in 2022? I mean, it's too early because there can be lots of things happening. The players form and everything from now. We have 3 months, but just an early thing. Just take a shot, take a spin.
11-6, if not 12-5.
Tell me why. Tell me why you are that confident.
Yes.
Give me facts.
NFC is not as tough as the AFC. The Niners are, yes, they're going against the toughest division in the AFC, but at the same time, that's the people who they're built to go up against. Their offense is built to go up against those defenses. Those defenses are there to stop the run or the pass. So we have an advantage as long as the offense is clicking in some sort of way. If you can utilize all areas of the field behind or in front of or past the line of scrimmage, it makes the 49ers offense extremely potent and extremely deadly. So one of the things I can't wait to see this year with Trey Lance starting is we come out, we get a first down, maybe 2-3 rushing yard. Maybe we rush the ball, consistently, 5 times and get, 2 first downs. So then it's 1st and 10. We come out like we're going to run and we throw a 60-yard pass for a touchdown. That's the type of thing that other teams aren't going to be ready and built for when they need to have to worry about stopping the run that gets a first down every two plays.
Okay, so let's do a quick exercise. I'll run through the opponents one by one. So you tell me whether that's a win or loss. Okay, let's start. Chicago.
Win.
Okay.
Win.
Ryan, I didn't hear you answer. Chicago.
Oh, I said win.
Okay. Seattle.
Win.
Denver.
Win.
Okay.
I'll take that as a
Win.
loss.
So count your own wins and losses. Okay. So LA Rams, week 4.
Win.
Win.
Panthers, away game.
I think that's a win.
Win.
Falcons, away.
That should be a win. Panthers and Falcons are
Win.
not good teams.
Kansas City Chiefs at home.
Loss.
That's a loss.
LA Rams,
Only
week
because
8.
it's at home.
LA Rams week 8 at SoFi Stadium.
That's off a short week, right?
I think that is a
Yes,
short week.
Isn't that a
that's
short? Is
not
that a
short
Thursday
week
night?
because no
No, that's
Chiefs
a
Sunday
Monday night
23rd of
game.
November. No, Rams. It's a Sunday game, 125 Pacific. So it's not a short week. So Sunday to Sunday before the bye week.
Loss.
Man,
You're saying win. So already you had 7-1 up to now, up to
Yep.
bye week.
so right now,
Okay,
Right
cool.
Yep.
Okay, let's
Yep.
let's go ahead with the rest of the. So week 10, LA Chargers at home, Sunday Night Football.
I
win.
think that's a win.
Okay, week 11, Cardinals, Mexico City, Monday Night Football.
That's a win
That's
too.
That's higher altitude than Denver. I'll say that's a loss.
Is it? Oh,
They got to deal with it too.
I didn't know that Mexico City was higher altitude.
Yeah, it's higher. It's higher. But hey,
win. That's crazy.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Swan.
So,
no,
Ryan,
I was
I
going to
need
say
your
that
answer.
they Arizona has to deal with it too.
Yes, true. So,
Yeah.
Ryan, I need your answer. Is it a win or loss?
I think
Don't
DeAndre
say it's a
Hopkins
tie.
is back.
It's a win.
Okay.
I think I'm going higher.
Yes. Okay. Week 12.
Looks like we might be
Saints.
13-3, fellas.
Saints.
Week 12 Saints home game.
I'm gonna take that as a loss.
Now we win. Now we
Week
win.
13 Dolphins home.
I think we win that one too.
I think we win that
I
one
think
too.
that's almost like a. Not that it's a gimme, but I think that's as closest to a gimme as you can get. You're talking about first year; they don't know that offense. They got a crazy issue.
That's
Okay.
a good point.
So
Every
week 14,
player, well, not every player.
week 14 Tampa Bay home game.
Loss.
Yep, that's a loss.
Week 15
At
Seattle
Leonard Fournette.
Thursday Night Football.
Win.
I'll say win.
Week 16 Washington at home.
W.
Win.
Week 17
A win.
Las Vegas Raiders at Vegas.
That's loss.
Week
I'll take
18
that.
Arizona Cardinals at home.
I'll take that as a win. I think they'll lose to the Raiders.
I think the Niners are going 14-3, fellas. Ah,
I
Okay.
think I got
I
11-6 or 12-5. I think after thinking about it,
I
but
like your optimism, but okay, we'll see.
well,
I-
so
but
this is the
again,
thing.
No, I understand because it's early.
We might
Still it's mid-May, so we have practically we have 3 weeks. No, 4 months. 4 months until the season starts. We don't know how the players, the form, injuries, especially the rookies, how they are going to turn up. So there are a lot of variables are in place. So I'm not going to hold you for 14-3 at this moment, but probably let's say before the season starts, week before season start, let's do another one. So that's the one I'm going to hold you accountable for. So then I'm going to come back
I
at
see
you
us dropping.
at that.
I see us dropping like 2 games in the division, but I don't see us dropping any. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see how we could drop 2 games in
I
the division,
understand.
but I don't see which game it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
I understand, but
Yeah, it's
I'm
tough.
just
I'm
skeptical
home.
given what we since
Yeah.
what I saw last year.
I mean, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that I mean, I think, and what you're saying is possible for sure. But usually, when you see teams that are 14-3, they're teams that are dominating, right? Where we don't have anything to go off
Which
of.
what
Like
this
last,
offense could be.
yeah, it could be. But what I'm just saying is, we have
Could
not
very
seen
well
this
be.
team yet dominate, right? Like last year, it was pretty much a coin flip in every game, it seemed, except for one or two. There was a coin flip in every game. So when you have that, sure, you can get lucky and win those coin flips, but I'm not saying that they can't do
It's
this,
just,
and I guess a lot of it has
it
to
was a
do
coin
with,
flip because the offense was stagnant. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
the
for
defense
sure.
had to totally lock down on the opponent. Now imagine this season when the opponent is locked down like last season, and the offense is just doing whatever it wants.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I'm just saying
Oh, excuse
that we need to see how the offensive line turns out. We need to see how Trey Lance turns out. I think the defense, it's not hard to see what that's going to look like. You know what I mean? I know that we have a different strong safety, and then I know we're going to have a different slot corner, but I think
me. Is
the
Tart gone
gains that
yet?
we made, he's not on the team officially, no.
He's not
But
signed by anybody.
he's not signed by anyone either. So
Yep.
there's a chance that they bring him back too. So
There's a chance.
and if we can stay healthy, like because that's what comes down to it too, right? Like we were relatively healthy last year. Like sure, we got the injuries at the beginning, but at the end of the season, when they were making this run, they were relatively healthy until freaking Trent Williams went down on the NFC Championship game. But before that, Debo played. He only missed one game. Sure, we were missing Kittle for 3 or 4 games, but he was there at the end, and I guess Jimmy was a band-aid, human band-aid at the end as well. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things to be excited about this team coming up for sure.
What's your record this year? What's your tentative outlook on the season?
Initially, I said 11-6 is what I said before the schedule came out, and then when I went with the schedule again, I could see 11-6 or 12-5, one of those. I that's what I'm going with, and it could be better for sure. I think it definitely could be better. I think when you look at the schedule, if we just win the games that we're supposed to win, I think that's what the record is going to be.
So I'm going to ask you guys a different question. So any game that you guys think might be a trap game that usually we expect to win, but we might be surprised. Oh, how did we lose that game? What would be that game for you? I mean, you can go. I mean, Swan, you can start.
Okay. So I mean, I know the schedule. I haven't seen anything where I'm like, oh, I think I'll let you guys pick the trap game, but I think this team with Trey Lance there will be always on high alert, right? Like they're not going to be like, oh, we're all cool and comfy here, because they have a rookie QB. Everyone's going to be on high alert, I think. And I think that's where you're not going to have this overconfidence, right? Because that's what usually trap games are, right? It's like you're overconfident, and all these things. I don't see that as being the Niners, really. They're not really an overconfident team.
Well, couldn't a trap? Yeah, but you remember the Rams back in the day? Remember the year we went to the Super Bowl against the Baltimore Ravens? I believe we lost one and we tied one, and both of those were to the Rams. Now, they weren't the Niners weren't overconfident. It's just the Rams were one of those teams that knew they were good, even though their win-loss didn't say it, and they wanted to prove a point when you had something you wanted to do. You know what I mean? So I don't know if a trap game is just somebody where you look past somebody or something like that.
Yeah. So
And that's and with this league, I think any team that we have scheduled for a loss after the first 3 weeks could be a trap game. Like, I don't believe that the Saints are going to be as bad as everybody's talking about. Yeah, their defense is nice, but their offense is in shambles. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might have Kamara there, but that's the only guy on the team. You get a couple hats on Kamara, he's not moving like Kamara anymore. You know what I mean? So there's things like that. Like Atlanta can surprise you. They can surprise you, or they can fall on their face. So I mean, with this league, any given Sunday, not to be cliche, but any given Sunday, essentially, and I don't know which team I would say would be maybe the Cardinals. The Cardinals would be one of the Cardinals games because I feel we'll beat them. But out of everybody, they have the talent that I think could really, do something when it needs to.
So the game that I'm looking at is Carolina Panthers. Panthers tend to start really well. Last year they started 3-0 before they lost to Cowboys pretty badly. Then they had a rough patch. So Panthers, they have a good defense. Um, uh, if Jesse Jackson comes back from the injury and Sam Darnold can, stay within what he's doing, so Panthers might be a game that's a tricky. That's a week 5 game because 49ers would be coming after 2 tough games: Denver Broncos and against Super Bowl champions LA Rams. So at that point, 49ers might be, in my opinion, will be like 2-2 team by that time if things go south. So then Panthers might be the team. Okay, here's a team that is kind of beaten up because that game comes essentially a short week because the LA Rams game week 4 it's Monday Night Football. Then the next Sunday they are playing Carolina, so at their stadium. So that might be a tricky game for me where they have a chance if their defense can hold up and might be a what you call a dogfight where they have a chance to topple 49ers. So, Kim, I didn't hear your opinion on this. What might be the trap game that you're worried about?
I'm going to say week 2 against Seattle, just because I know Seattle is lost Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson, but they've always played and had the 49ers number and getting victories on us. So I want to see the 49ers just take it to them right off the bat and pour it on them and not let them up. I want to see that. And on Carolina, it's J.C. Horn, not J.C. Jackson. Waruna, I believe you said J.C. Jackson.
Yes, Jesse Jackson. I believe I said Jesse Jackson, right?
Yes,
Or
he's
did
on L.A.,
Oh,
the Chargers. It's
so
J.C.
Jesse
Horn.
Horn, right?
Yes.
Yes, Jesse Horn. Sorry. Okay, I got mixed up.
It's all right.
no, you're fine.
Yes.
So I just want to see them get by that first Seattle game just to see if they could not exercise the demon of not having Russell Wilson in the division.
Yes. So, what would be now this is another question for me. Now, what would be the most satisfying this out of this season? I'm not talking about going to the playoffs or anything, but during the regular season. So I'll answer first, so just to give you guys an idea. But but where I want to go with this question, to me the satisfaction would be beating Seattle twice. So that's what I need. So beating Seattle twice. I'm not going to take the excuse from Seattle fans. We didn't have Russell Wilson, so on and so forth. None of that matters. We did beat you fair and square. So you are just so losers. So I want to see that happening, beating Seattle twice. So I want to ask you guys. So what are you looking for in the regular season? What would be your highlight in regular season?
I would I would like to see
Kim, you want to go
Trey.
first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Sorry. I like to see Jim.
No, you're good.
I want to see Trey have 30 touchdowns and maybe 10 interceptions, and actually show his true potential. I mean, show why the 49ers traded 3 first-round picks and a third for him when you see all these other starting quarterbacks getting traded for 5 or 6 picks and players. So I want to see him do that and maybe get a handful of rushing touchdowns too. I don't want to see him get run into the ground or just pounded because he has to run for his life.
So, Swan, do you have an answer to that? What are you looking for? What would you be excited during the regular season? Maybe he's on mute. All right, Ryan, maybe you can
Yeah,
go ahead
he's
and.
on mute. Yeah, I thought I would be, but man, I would like to see Trey Lance get 3 out of the 4 wins against the AFC West. I think being able to watch them operate, to see them move, and for him to lead the offense to a win, no matter how the defense is playing, but to lead to a win that doesn't come down to the last second, or if it does, it's not because of continuous mistakes by him. You know what I mean? To where he can that's what I want to see. So I just want to see him grow. I want to see, I want to see, because he's got a great team around him, and I think he's got everything he needs. And we'll see if he can do it. What up? Guy called Ed.
Yes. So now, other than that, so is Swan out there?
Swan's off mute. Last time I seen.
He's off mute. Yes. So no worries. So just want to ask another question. So I mean, yes, we are going to play AFC West, so that's going to be tough. But other than that, there are a couple of teams that are like kind of in rebuilding mode. Miami Dolphins. So one of the teams that I believe has huge potential, because last year, remember, they lost 8 games in a row, but then won 8 games in a row again. They were basically 0-8, went 8-8, lost the ninth game. Lost the last game. So they are a good team, has a good defense. They know how to turn things around. I mean, they have Mike McDaniels, the 49er guy. They got Tyreek Hill, so they have weapons, everything. Even Raheem Mostert is with Dolphins. So, what do you think about that Dolphins game? Dolphins game essentially would be a week 13. So at that time, both the teams probably fighting for a playoff spot. That week 13 game, do you think it's going to be a blockbuster of a game?
It could be. I could see them if the Dolphins and the 49ers each have winning records. I could see that game being a primetime game, being flexed to a primetime. When does that happen in the NFL? I can't remember when they flex, the early games into a primetime Sunday night game. I don't know when they do that. Starting
It's
what
when
week? But
it's when they got teams that are, in the primetime game that are trash and no one wants to see. And then there's teams that are in those early games that people are like, oh, I can't wait to watch that.
yeah. So I could see that being a primetime game. And also, Miami really did load up this offseason for Tua to really show if he can actually, if he's an actual starting level NFL quarterback. So to me, that's the one thing that I want to see from in that game.
Okay, Ryan, what do you think? So the Dolphins game, week 13. So that might be a very crucial juncture of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be crucial. The the thing I wonder is, will they have the growing pains ironed out by learning the offensive language and the plays? And then the biggest thing actually is can they run the outside zone? Can you run the outside zone? It takes specific linemen to run the outside zone effectively. And the zone blocking schemes take specific ones. Same thing with power blocking schemes. So if you're set up for a power blocking scheme, you have mostly the same starters on the offensive line, and then you switch up to going to a zone scheme, you might not be doing so well. So I know they necessarily weren't one or the other, but now you're going totally one way. And I don't know if they've got the linemen to get that done. That's why I'm not really worried about the Dolphins so much. It's a first year. Sean McVay, every single Kyle Shanahan protege has had issues winning against Kyle. You think Mike McDaniel, the last one out of the nest, the freshest one on the block, has got what it takes to do what the other guys couldn't have done beforehand? Maybe he waited so long enough that he learned enough.
I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, I mean that's a great take. I did not think of it.
I just don't know,
in that way. Yeah. I do agree. Because yes, I mean even if they are loaded, yes, still Kyle is the guy who groomed up Mike McDaniels. Yes, that's a great point. Yes. So what else do we going to hit up today? So in terms of topics.
Question?
Yes. So
you're going to ask
interesting question. Yes. Whose career do you prefer Trey to follow? Dan Marino or Eli Manning? I mean, even I would be okay with either of these careers because I think, I mean, Dan Marino, he was unfortunate not to win a Super Bowl. I mean, yes. But on the other hand, Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls. Both these guys are, I mean, Eli Manning, there is always the argument whether he's a Hall of Famer or not, but still he's a very good quarterback. I mean, he had some phenomenal playoff runs. So I'm okay with anything because good quarterbacks are hard to come by because I don't think we have to expect another Josh Allen because that guy is a freakish quarterback. So if we can have, let's say, at least 75% of Josh Allen from Trey Lance, that's like top 10 quarterback already. So I'm happy with either one. So if Trey Lance can be a borderline top 10 in today's league, that's more than enough to win a Super Bowl.
Here's an interesting fact about Dan Marino. Remember the 85 Bears only had one loss that regular season?
85 Bears. Okay. Don't remember. I do not remember, but I have read about it. Yes.
Their loss was against the Miami Dolphins in that Monday night game before they shot that Super Bowl shuffle video the next day or two after that loss. And then who was in the AFC Championship game that season? The Patriots and the Dolphins. So I think if Dan Marino got back to play the 85 Bears again, I think he would have gotten that Super Bowl against the 85 Bears and derailed that season. He could have, because the Bears played all those teams, and you could only play the teams on the schedule, but he was the only superstar quarterback they faced that entire season.
That's a great point.
I want to speak on Ed's comment right here. I'm not saying that Miami doesn't have a talented roster. I'm just saying they might not be able to click in the system yet to make it worth something at that point in time. Because you're talking about will Tua know the system, and he's the one running the whole thing. So there's things.
Agreed. And also, they made one of the best offseason moves in getting Teron Armstead to protect Tua. I think that was a highly underrated move.
And to
Okay.
answer your question, Ed, I think Dan Marino. I'd rather have a Dan Marino because if you watch Marino's play, you go, man, this guy is good. When you watch Eli Manning's play, you don't go, damn, this guy is good. When you look at his accolades, not necessarily his stats, but his accolades, you're like, hey, that's a good guy. But when you watch it, you're not like, this guy's not burning down the buildings. It's because Dan Marino had a different team around him. Eli Manning had a different team around him. They were able to do different things.
Even yes, even that's why I came up with Josh Allen, not to compare Josh Allen with Trey Lance, but just to say that if Trey Lance, I don't
Right.
want Trey Lance to be another Josh Allen, but at least he can have some level of success compared to that guy. But he's having in today's NFL, then we are going to have a great quarterback for the franchise.
If he
So
was
yes,
80% of Josh Allen, if he was 80% of Josh
like a top
Allen,
five
let's face it,
quarterback.
that's all this team needs to Super Bowls.
Yes, more than enough. Yeah. I mean, it's borderline top five quarterback. 80% of
Yeah.
Josh Allen is borderline top five. Yes. So I think we wanted to talk about basically this 49ers schedule today. What are the games, what's the record that we are thinking? So, I mean, there will be a lot to talk about moving forward, especially now the training camp starts. There will be other news coming up. There might be trades, so on and so forth, few additions. So, anything else, Ryan, that you want to talk about before we wrap up for the day?
No, not really. Everybody just have a blast, a wonderful weekend, and try and get through next week.
Yes, Kim.
Me and the
Any
dream,
final
1,000
thoughts?
subs.
Yes. Any final thoughts, Kim?
One last thought I have is hopefully Kyle finds a way to not let the pressure of the big games get to him and he actually wins one instead of finding ways to lose them.
Yes. Basically, I mean, that's what he told when
But don't you think with the
traded up for Trey
Trey
Lance.
Lance, it'll be easier for him not to take his foot off the gas. It'll be easier for him to go for the throat because it'll be like, yeah, let's run the ball on you and let's throw the ball all the way down the field and score a touchdown and make your offense deal with my defense now.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's what I think Kyle is also thinking. That I remember he literally saying after trading up for number 3, he said, we did not want to left at the altar. So the same thing. So I mean, he was the runner up so many times. So he needs that finish. He needs that trophy. So yes. So I mean, let's answer this question before we wrap up. Planning to go to game 1 at Chicago. Any recommendations? Yes, I think Kim, that's for you because you can answer the question.
If you like good, one of the specialties of Chicago is Italian beef and sausage sandwiches. So the place to go is a place called Portillo's. And if you're in Chicago, you got to get deep dish pizza at least once. I would recommend Giordano's. Is really good and it's not too far from the stadium. And do not try to avoid the south side of Chicago if you can. That's where, when you hear a lot of violence and crime in Chicago, usually that's a place where most of it occurs. So, but a lot of great museums,
Kim,
a lot of good food.
party.
What's that?
Are you going to be hosting a party? You're going to have a spot VIP'd for all the 49ers community?
If you're talking about being in a 900 square foot apartment, as big a party as you can, but not planning on. I'm not. I got a charity event that I have to. I'm working at on that Sunday, so I can't go to the game. But yeah, I know that a lot of people have recommendations for Chicago. There's a lot of good museums, a lot of good food, and it's a nice place to be. Just hopefully it won't be too hot. Still last a little bit of summer in Chicago in the Midwest.
Okay. So thank you very much for joining in for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for in chat, keeping it alive. So let's meet again, talk about more stuff. There will be more news coming in next couple of, until the season starts, everything. So have a great night, Ryan. Any last thoughts?
Have a wonderful evening. Peace.
Oh man, I just made it back on time, and you guys are leaving.
Yes. So we thought of like, okay, we discussed about